We envision the ideal way of living. In housing, designing comfort tailored to your lifestyle. Through medical and welfare, providing safety and peace of mind. With entertainment, delivering culture and sports that move your heart. Wishing everyone a life full of richness and fulfillment. Always by your side, Yamashita Group. We envision the ideal way of living. In housing, designing comfort tailored to your lifestyle. Through medical and welfare, providing safety and peace of mind. With entertainment, delivering culture and sports that move your heart. Wishing everyone a life full of richness and fulfillment. Always by your side, Yamashita Group.
Tere tulemast kõigile Tallinnasse Tondi Raba jäähalli, kus meil on veel tänase päeva ja õhtu jooksul toimumas iluuisutamise juunioride maailmameistrivõistlused. Tõepoolest kätte on jõudnud viimane võistluspäev, aga ma võin julgelt öelda, et see saab olema üks põnevamaid võistluspäevasid üleüldse, aga miks sellest kohe hakkangi rääkima. Welcome everyone to the Tondi Raba ice rink here in Estonia. In Tallinn. It's so nice to see all of you here. And today we have here the last day of ISU Figure Skating Junior World Championships 2026. Selle nädala jooksul on juba jääl käinud 190 parimat iluuisutajat ja kokku 43 erinevast riigist. Ja see on olnud tõepoolest suurepärane võimalus näha nii meie kodumaa talente kui ka välismaa noori tegijaid siin samas meie koduareenil, koduuisuplatsil oma silmaga. Nii et kindlasti võtkem sellest tänasest võistluspäevast ka viimast. We will see more than 190 figure skaters from 43 countries here in Tallinn, or we actually have seen already them during the previous days and the last days. But also this is a wonderful opportunity to see the young talents with your own eyes today and tonight. Ja kohe on meil tegelikult algamas ka jäätantsu vabatants, kus me näeme juunioride maailmameistri tiitli eest võistlemas 20 paari. So the ice dance free dance is about to begin, where 20 ice dance pairs will compete for the Junior World Champion title. Ja kes oli siin ka eile, siis teab, et eile me juba ka kroonisime meeste üksiksõidu juunioride maailmameistri ja saime olla osa ka sellest ägedast võistlusest. Yesterday we announced the Junior World Champions in men's single skating as well. Ja täna on meil tegelikult au lausa 2 uut juunioride maailmameistrit välja kuulutada, nii et sellepärast see saabki olema õige põnev. So later this evening we will also find out who becomes this year's Junior World Champion in women's single skating. Aga nüüd vaatamegi üle ajakava, et mis meil siin täpsemalt toimuma hakkab. Ja juba 10 minuti pärast siis jäätantsu vabatants ongi algamas, kestab ta kuni 14.31. Siis tuleb väikene sirutuspaus, saate minna ringi jalutada, uudistada, meil on siin mõned poed ja kohvikud. Või siis saate niisama lihtsalt muljetada ja siis 15.30 tasub kindlasti olla tagasi, siis hakkab naiste vaba kava. And when we look today's schedule, then we will see that after 10 minutes, then we will see ice dance, free dance and later women free skating. Ja tegelikult meil on teile varuks ka üks tore video, või õigemini 2 videot. kus siis kõigepealt te näete meie enda kodumaa noori jäätantsijaid jagamas selliseid toredaid mõtteid jäätantsu kohta ning lisaks ka üks tore highlightide video. But now we will watch a video from our local skaters here in Estonia and then a highlight video.
Tere tulemast iluuisutamise juuniorite maailmameistrivõistlustele.
Hello and welcome to the ISU Figure Skating Junior World Championships. Tere, mina olen Miron Korjagin.
Ja mina olen Ksenija Šipunova ja me oleme Eesti jäätantsijad.
Hello, I am Miron Korjagin.
And I am Ksenija Šipunova.
And we are ice dancers from Estonia.
Kohe algab jäätantsuvõistlus. Ja jäätantsus ei ole viskeid või hüppeid. Jäätantsus on tähtis rütm, sidepartneriga ja uisuvaldamise oskus.
The ice dance event is starting now. In ice dance, it's not about big jumps or throws. It's about rhythm, connection and moving as one.
Nautige võistlust ja elage meile kaasa.
Enjoy the performance and cheer for us.
Ma usun, et see oli nüüd selline hea isu tekitaja kõigile, et mida kõike me siit nüüd kohe hakkame nägema oma silmadega samamoodi. Aga meil on veel jäänud natukene võistluse alguseni ja enne seda veel, kes soovib, võib käia alal natukene ringi. Tegin ka mina enne siin väikese tiiru ja vastasin, et siin on väga palju ägedaid ja põnevaid asju ja kohti. Näiteks on meil siin olemas Riispordi uiskude pood, kus saate siis oma silmaga näha, et millised on need professionaalsed uisud, millega siis võisteldakse üleüldse iluuisutamises. Meil on siin kohal ka Shiki spordi pop-up pood, kus saab erinevate riietega tutvuda. Meil on olemas edejauisud ja Lama Feel Your Tempo rauad. Lisaks meil on olemas ka Sagesteri uisuriided ja loomulikult kohvikualad, nii et kui läheb kõht tühjaks või tekib anu, siis ei pea üldse muretsema, saab läbi hüpata siis ka kohvikust. Ning lisaks lubati, et jäätis saab ka veel, nii et ühesõnaga ma arvan, kõik vajalik on absoluutselt olemas. So before we start, let's take a moment and recap what else we have here in this area. And I saw that we have here figure skate shop from Riisport, and we have here also Edea figure skates and, for example, Lama plates, and also Chic sport shops and Chichester clothes, and of course cafes. So if you feel that you are a bit hungry or you want to grab some coffee, then feel free to take it before we start. aga nüüd ongi jäänud viimased minutid, et ringi uudistada siin ala peal ja me alustame juba õige pea. So now it's the last minutes to go and see the area and then we will start really soon.
Hello everyone, welcome to Tallinn, Estonia, the final day of competition at the Junior World Figure Skating Championships as we look at the beautiful city of Tallinn, Estonia, just around 500,000 inhabitants here in this city. I'm Ted Bart along with Mark Hanratty. The free dance coming up in just a few moments, followed by the ladies free program. Mark, welcome to the last day and the last day of the Junior World Championships. Of course, you will be covering the Senior World Championships in Prague, and you're going to have a really good overall picture of the qualities of skating in both the juniors and seniors globally.
Yeah, it's such an important end of an Olympic cycle, and I think covering the World Championships will be such a Senior World Championships will be such a different experience to this. The Junior World Championships, we will maybe be seeing retirements and final competitive performances when the World Championships heads to Prague, when we see some of the athletes then ending their competitive days, whereas right here, right now, we see very much the youth and energy of what will hopefully go on to become the athletes that we follow avidly and excitedly as seniors over the years ahead.
And we have to admit it's pretty exciting when you see the talent that's on the ice here at these championships. And I don't mean the top talent, the top group or the last two groups. I mean the depth is huge.
Yeah, so strong. And at this Junior World Championships, unlike the Junior Grand Prix, which we covered earlier on this season, we are only going to be seeing the top flights in the second portion of the competition. So just the top 20 teams, 30 took part in the rhythm dance, but it is the top 20 after that part of the competition that we will see today, and then the top 24 women in the women's free skating.
But it was pretty impressive with some of the skaters who didn't qualify for this, that their skills are the same as the top group. Maybe they made a mistake on that day, but it's not as if they came here with only half the jumping skills or spinning skills or connection with the music. So they'll be able to move up, obviously. During next season, during the Junior Grand Prix season, we'll get a better look at their development.
And this is now the time when, as we look at the names that will be competing now, where hopefully those that aren't on the start order for the free dance are in and around the venue, ready to absorb and soak up all of the potential learning that it offers.
And wasn't it fun last night at dinner in the skaters' dining hall, if you will? You know, a bunch of the young men came up to talk to us.
Yeah.
And they, wanted to sit and chat and hang out a little bit. Great comrades, great friends, great competitors, and it's a very, very cool environment.
Oh, it's such a wonderful environment, and for some of the juniors who have already concluded their competition, they, like some of the judges and the technical panel members that you see on screen now, they're heading towards the end of their season, and therefore opportunity to relax a little bit, and we sense that for some of them, and hopefully, as we look ahead to this final day of competition, that relaxed, pressure off will encourage a vocal audience, an excited audience that will be eager to be here now to cheer on without any pressure of worrying about their own competition to come.
Well, you can see on the faces of some of these young athletes here, it's fun to be in the final, to be in the free dance, of course, that smile of that young man, enjoying the moment. Might be a little bit more serious than the last group as they battle for podium spots.
Yeah, so true. And every athlete coming into the free dance has a different perspective. Some of them, just as you say, the likes of Lara and Hector from Spain, just delighted to have made the cut. And then you've got Summer and Nicholas, who are on the left of the screen, who I'm sure will be feeling a little disappointed that they are in this group, having had some challenges with the technical element score in the rhythm dance yesterday.
Yeah.
But just over 2 points separate the 5 teams in this first group. And so therefore potential certainly for maneuvering in the results and in the standings.
And we often talk about, or people often talk about, how, I don't want to say difficult it is to move up in the dance event, but what would be required for a significant change?
Well, within the junior free dance, the teams will have various different technical elements with which to work with to try to accrue more points. There will be 2 different types of short lift or a combination lift. There'll be a dance spin. There'll be a step sequence, which is in hold, where the partners work through the different types of dance holds. Then there's a 1-foot turns sequence, some synchronized twizzle, and then synchronized twizzles, and then 2 choreographic elements. So lots of potential for the couples to accrue more points on the technical element score, and then the second way in which they amass more points, the same as the singles and the pairs, through the program components, those comprising of skating skills, composition and presentation, as we see Lara and Hector, who are so delighted at the reception that they received in the rhythm dance, and they train in Finland, and that not too far from where we are in Tallinn, Estonia, and so many of their friends and family have made the trip to support them.
He still knows where that camera is.
Oh, yeah. And it was wonderful yesterday for us to see, from as Lara takes chance to acknowledge the camera as well, that in the rhythm dance, our viewpoint, we could see Hector and his family when they found out that they had made the cut of qualifying for the free dance, and the celebration in the audience was just a beautiful thing to behold. As we see Shanxi Yin and Shirui Yang, and they will be skating to such a different music choice from the rhythm dance. The rhythm dance yesterday had the 1990s high energy, crowd-pleasing requirements, whereas now the music requirement for the couples competing in a free dance, it can be a completely different type of energy from the rhythm dance, but all the music must create an interesting, colorful, and entertaining dance program with different dance moods or a building effect. That's the criteria. But
yeah. Okay, let's talk a few things that we did yesterday. Dance blade. This is just for the general audience out there not knowing too much about this. The dance blade, or the blade on the boot for ice dance, is shorter than the other disciplines. Tell us why.
Well, as we watched Serena and Loreen, they were working through their twizzles, and the shorter blade can facilitate faster rotation, and faster rotation will help boost the grade of execution. Also, the toe picks are shorter, and there's not the same need for a big toe pick.
And you think that helps with the skating skills? I mean, everybody regards ice dancers as better basic skaters. Of course, they spend a lot more time on the skating skills, but does that help them?
Well, it's an interesting concept, because I think everybody does assume that the skating skills are better in ice dance, but the criteria for judging skating skills is essentially the exact same for ice dance as it is for singles and pairs. So theoretically that shouldn't necessarily be the case, but a lot more time division is arguably going into deeper edges because of the elements that are required for the dance.
But does that shorter blade help them?
Some might say so. Nah.
You don't think so? Okay,
No,
anyways, they have shorter blades, and there's a reason why Mark gave that. That's good. You wouldn't do that in pair skating. You need a longer blade to have more stability as you lift the woman above their head.
And for sure, the free skate blade, of course, for jumping has an absolute necessity. The bigger toe pick to elevate and to give more traction and grip into the takeoffs. But there won't be much jumping done. We do have one of the elements, potentially the choreographic assisted jumps. That's an option for the teams when it comes to the 2 choreographic elements that are to be performed in a junior free dance.
We call them assisted jumps, but they're really like a little bit of a lift. Assisted jump, it looks like a lift because it's not the athlete jumping on their own.
Completely assist. You're so right. However, within the choreographic assisted jumps, if that's something that the teams choose to use when they're making their content, there are various different criteria that prevent it from falling into the lift category. So a lift is when it's the team or the lifted partners off the ice for 3 seconds or more. The choreographic assisted jumps don't fall
once
into
again,
that.
is that terminology. Now let's talk about the ADC. Do we have the ADCs and the twizzles?
So in the twizzles, there are synchronized twizzles in the free dance as opposed to sequential twizzles in the rhythm dance. And the A, B's, and C's are the different features that the skaters have to use. So arm features, leg features, and entry or exit features. And they cannot do the same entry or exit feature in the free dance as they do in the
we're
rhythm
going to use
dance.
the terminology of arms and legs.
Ted's
going
gonna
to A's and B's.
change the wording.
Absolutely. Our first team represents Hong Kong, Yu Shenxing and Han Wan Chao. They had a pretty good Junior Grand Prix season this year with a 7th and 9th place finish, and they're the first team out.
Yes, and this team benefiting from a strong technical element score in the rhythm dance to make the cut for the free dance, and they will skate to music from the soundtrack to Mary Poppins.
Representing China, Yu Shenxing and Han Wan Chao.
Representing actually Hong Kong, because this is the first, and this is actually the first ice dance team from Hong Kong has made it to Junior World.
Exactly.
So they do train in China, in Harbin, And I think it makes an interesting point because that flag proudly waved, a history made for that nation, and also great to see other participation, something that you reference so often on the Junior Grand Prix, Ted, and what they have done here, I'm so impressed with. So impressed, and a great concept for them to run with the Mary Poppins theme. I really enjoyed it.
And you talked about that yesterday, the qualifying for this, based on their technical score. But I thought their skating skills showed much better.
Yeah, it's a good point. Of the two scores that helped the skaters overall, the technical element score and the program component scores, this team wouldn't have qualified if it was down to the second mark. It was the technical score that helped to get them within the top 20. That said, when we look at this free dance, their Mary Poppins free dance, we're able to see more speed and flow, which is something that is potentially more possible in the free dance portion of competition because the nature of the elements and the pattern the couples can use, but nevertheless, good skating skill.
And the freedom, they made it here, so there was no more stress of trying to qualify. They were on the ice.
And here, the synchronized twizzles, you can see now allowed to have more steps in between the first and the second twizzle, unlike the criteria for the twizzle element in the rhythm dance. And there you see back chopped up from Yoshan as they work through the bracket turn for Hanwan. And just really great to see that, you know, a team that's representing a new nation on the Junior World Championship stage, but they look so well packaged from, you know, costume down to concept, as we see the curved lift here, finding the balance point to be able to achieve the difficult features for both within that lift and coming in at a comfortable maximum level 4 with a good grade of execution.
Well, their season's best is 79.61. We'll see where their scores, the first team out, of course. And it's really not about placement or even scores for them. It's this experience in qualifying for the free dance with a 72.16 score for the free dance. And a total competition score for 119.25. Well, mission accomplished, getting into the free dance. And back to work pretty soon for next season. Our next team represents Spain, Laura Sunberg and Hector Gonzalez Elvira.
And this team, another team, so delighted to have made the cut for this free dance. And this free dance in itself, highly entertaining. And look out for their choreographic elements, some real original creativity as they skate to Maddest Kind of Love and Mr. Pinstripe Suit.
Well, Mark, that was fun. Laura Sunberg and Hector Gonzalez Avera of Spain. That had a lot of energy.
Yeah,
a lot of personality.
It's so true, and I don't know whether or not it's because we can feel the energy from those that have come to support them as they look at them now, Lara and Hector. But certainly it was quite thrilling to watch because we could sense that enthusiasm.
They win the team support.
And hey, shout out to Team Spain for then winning the team support. Amazing. And I think there are so many wonderful aspects to it, but what's important is that there must be at least one change of tempo, rhythm, or expression in a free dance. And I love the way that we were steered through that music edit from Lara and Hector and that choreography to showcase such change in vibe.
Yep, absolutely. And you know, when you're being entertained, you look a little less at the detail, of course. And of course, the judges have to, the technical panel have to, but that was pure entertainment. You just enjoyed it. And you didn't really notice so much about the technical elements in the detail. 3 are under review right now, but overall, really well done.
Yeah, it's hard not to have just really enjoyed what they delivered. I think if we dive deeper, for me, two of the technical elements were quite brilliant as Neil and Maurizio hugged them. The curve lift had so many positive features. I think I'd be a good +3 on that at least. And then of course that choreographic hydroglide move at the end, or the penultimate element in the program, was just fantastic. Looking back at some of the technical elements, that's where they may fall asunder a little bit comparative to what we will see. But here, just having the foxtrot hold, this sort of quick step vibe that they gave, the entry into this was totally effortless, and that's a positive feature. And then a smooth exit coming out of that curve lift as we look now at the required dance spin. He in the sit position, she in the camel catch. And here, with the straight line lift, the way in which Lara is rotating her wrist in time to the music, that's adding to those positive features. A little out of sync though, if I can stop waxing lyrical about the team, that can dive a little bit deeper as the judges have to understand why there won't be the greatest creative execution on all of the elements. This was the 1-foot turns, and at this point within the program, I thought they'd started to just be a little less crisp, of course, little fatigue starting to showcase there.
Well, entertainment value, top notch, no question.
That's Olympic senior brilliance, that. I think Lara and Hector had said that Neil Brown was responsible for that creative madness in their choreo hydroglide.
Well, they had fun just standing at the side of the rink before they got on the ice. They were just thrilled, and you can see that energy carry through into their performance. Great job. Season's best, 75.59. They're
great. Great energy.
Absolutely. Free dance score, 68.11. That is second in the free dance, and a little disappointed with that score, no question, but thrilled with this experience. Total competition score 115.65. That'll put them for the moment at least into second place. As you mentioned, some of the technical elements, they were a little bit shaky, so that...
Lower levels there.
Our next team represents China, Shenxi Jin, Yin, and Shiriri Yang.
And this a stark contrast to their rhythm dance. And a team that has had as high as 80 points earlier on the Junior Grand Prix series, hoping to replicate that or more as they skate to Lies and Renaissance. China's Zhang Yin and Shirui Yang skating and showcasing some maturity. Two 18-year-olds with some intensity and maturity, and you can see the emotion on their faces.
I like the effort in the composition. I think it's beautiful, really very well done. But you also can see that there's a lot of room for growth of quality. They're doing everything, but they'll do it better in time.
And I suppose it's that variability throughout the course of the 3.5 minutes of free dance, because Zhang and Shirui showcase so much speed and flow in certain elements. So for me, the twizzles, the ice coverage on the twizzles was fantastic.
Incredible.
The same for the 1 foot turn, showcasing more flow and glide than we've seen from the other teams thus far, but then a little bit intermittent, as you would expect and assume at this stage, because then perhaps a little less quality toward the end of the program. But good connection between the two, and it was fun to see immediately whatever Shirui said to Zhang, there was a little bit of laughter and engagement. And that also, seeing that personal human reaction to the end of the performance makes you appreciate then how they interpreted, because they were totally committed to that expressive angst.
And, you know, the program itself had a sensitivity to it, which might be a new feeling, you know, for a dance couple as they move along their journey, right? It might be something new and fresh and exploring their next stage of development.
Some nice contemporary stylization, and that continued in the choreo character step, the last element as well, which I enjoyed. And here that was some of their transitional content between the mandatory first and second twizzle, trying to push the grade of execution up by including the likes of a more difficult knee slide and their body movement in the 3 turn to connect the second and the third twizzle. So endeavoring to do constantly more for the pursuit of a higher tech score. Let me see on these close-ups here, just forever pursuing deeper edges, and that'll be what will separate Zhang and Shirui from the teams that are yet to come and what they'll be working on with their brilliant coaching staff through the off-season as well. As we see the change of pose for the straight line lift, and they choosing to do a combination lift has to be underneath 13 seconds. As we see choreographic slide movement. Just wants to lock out that left knee, point the toe a little bit more to just showcase more body control for grade of execution, real fine detail. Look at that gorgeous commitment to the interpretation there from Zhang. As coach Alexei Kilyakov joins them. Ice dance coach is looking very smart as ever in the kiss and cry.
Let's take a look at the free dance scores. 74.57, that's first in the free dance. Total competition score. 123.36, they take the lead.
And that likely to be at worst in 18th place, some 6 places higher than 12 months ago when they competed at World Juniors in Hungary last year.
Our next team represents Switzerland, 18-year-old Serena Scharner and 20-year-old Lauren Whitaker.
And Lauren explaining that an ice dance partnership, but off the ice, best friends. And this another creative and unique concept for their free dance as they skate to Jin Sakai and Koto album. Switzerland's Serena Scharner and Whitaker.
Well, Mark, I'm just going to make my comment here. As a fan of ice dance, certainly not an expert, I absolutely love that. I love the innovation, the creativity. It was awesome.
Brilliant. And as for that choreographic slide at the end of the program, the difficulty and complexity of that is amazing and delivered with such aplomb. And they really ignited the audience. It's like a party in here. The support is fantastic.
Well, people recognize this is something different. It's something extremely well done. Now, 4 of these elements are under review, so that may change the score. The score is one thing, but the property, the piece that they did, is another, and it was really great.
And what I'm loving is the fact that the couple are coming off the ice full of joy. Of course, score will become important. I'm sure their energy level will shift towards wondering what happens, but celebration for them and their coach. And Alyssa and Stefan here with them as well. Alyssa explaining how proud she is of the team. She said that they've worked incredibly hard. And Lorraine was explaining also, he's had a lot of people doubting him. He said that initially he was told he was too small and people would always critique him, and he's absolutely stayed committed to the sport and now this new partnership. Difficult entry into the twizzles, good match, and the leg not deviating. Often we'll see couples just drop the leg. That was not the case as we see them work through the 1-foot turns. A little bit of a tight twizzle there for Serena. This was brilliant. The curve lift, again, like others before, choosing to do a combination lift as opposed to 2 separate lifts, but it was musically matched wonderfully well. And Lorraine is the son of an opera singer, so music has always been a big role in his childhood, and their musicality evident here as we see that incredible choreo slide.
Their composition score is significantly higher than the other 2 program components. I just want to say, before this event started, we saw Stefan and Elisa in the hallway here doing a dance together, working on something.
And you know what that says is that the coaches that we see on screen now, they were just in their own time happy choreographing and playing. Obviously, they're invested. It's not just a job to them.
80.77. That's first in the free dance. They are thrilled, and so are we. 129.98 as they take the lead. That was exciting, interesting, a great future, bright future.
Kudos to the whole team.
Yeah. Our next team represents Canada, 18-year-old Summer Hunick and 19-year-old Nicholas Yulo.
A complete vibe change now for Summer and Nick. They really exploiting their elegance and storytelling as they prepare to perform their free dance to music from the musical Ghost. Canada's Summer Hunick and Nicholas Bulow.
Yeah, I know they're a little disappointed with a bobble here and there in the program, but this is one of the great things about ice dance, the variety of performances and concepts that we see from team to team, and you can see them supporting each other and emotional, not only about the performance, but maybe a mistake that they had made, but that's okay. From a fan's perspective, that was beautiful.
Yeah, and I think for Summer also conscious of family stuff lately as well, emotional here, and the music so emotional, such a perfect fit for a team as we see some understandably moved family members supporting them ringside, and the team, you know, they story tell so well, and they, you know, if you were to pick music for a team, that seems like the absolute perfect choice for Summer and Nick. They will be disappointed, of course, the mistake and the twizzles that we might get to see again for Summer will be costly, and I think the team understandably will be a bit frustrated with the technical element score that they had in the rhythm dance. They had bass assigned to both in the non-touch and the rhythm dance as they head towards coach Mitchell Islam. And I think Mitchell's invested in them as humans, not just as skaters, and that's something that Summer has acknowledged, that, you know, they feel that support, which is priceless. And the program had lots of side-by-side and open skating, which I personally love. I think it reads really well and allows us to see emotion. Maybe that'll be impacted in the composition. Perhaps the judges want to see a little bit more intricacy and hold. I loved it. And the technical panel just assessing what levels to give. First twizzle, absolutely fine. No such issues with that. But then we'll see here on the second twizzle, oh no, sorry. That must have been the Group C, that exit twizzle feature, which was okay. Nice of the camera cuts and edits to showcase some of the highlights. And as you look at the stationary lift, and then tapping into Summer's experience as a pair skater before she transitions into ice dance with that forward inside death spiral movement being utilized within their choreographic slide. And just now as the tech panel review, we're seeing that there's a base assigned to the level of the twizzle. So again, some further costly mistakes for the technical element score, which will be a bit difficult to swallow.
And Mark, as I was listening to the technical panel do their work, which is a fascinating process, they were going into detail and making some changes upon review of the replays. So, you know, that happens with every team, of course, and I'm going to do that throughout this event as you are talking and assessing the program itself technically, but listening to the technical panel information is really wonderful. We wish fans could listen to that too.
And maybe they will too.
Yeah, maybe they will in the future, because to listen to the process that they go through to analyze the detail equally and fairly through every team is quite something.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect situation because you're looking at the one camera angle. Well, let's take a look at the freedance scores for Summer Hunick and Nicholas Yulo. It's a 76.84. That is second in the freedance with a total competition score of 126.22, and that'll put them currently at the moment in the second place.
And there we see the standings with the Swiss team moving above the Canadians, and now as the season closes for some of these juniors, opportunity now to regroup beyond this and then make the headway in the off-season. The off-season so crucial as we look now to those that still have their work to be done. The next team of 5 coming onto the ice.
Mark, I have a question for you. You're the expert, the dancer here, this team. So, you know, we talk a lot about posture in pair skating and in single skating in relationship to how important that is for the technical element, for the jumps and for the lifts and all those, and the throws and all those things. Now, but they don't necessarily have that here in dancing quite often. We old style posture, stand up straight, beautiful line. How important is posture in ice dance? And does a posture that less than, optimum posture, does that lean itself more towards the style in which they've chosen for that particular piece?
Well, it's a really interesting discussion point regarding posture in the discipline of ice dance. And if you're an ice dance historian, you will know that this sport has had such a change in the approach. So ice dance, as we mentioned yesterday, didn't come into the Junior World Championships till 1980. It was later than the other disciplines, and originally it was founded so much on the compulsory dances. And those compulsory dances comprised of teams, two skaters, being very close to one another, whereby often teams were vastly judged based on the proximity of their hips and the openness of the top line. A bit more akin to what you would see if you were to watch a ballroom dance competition. Now, as we watch Mimi and Joe on ice, there is not that. We don't have the pattern dances or previously known as compulsory dances unless you're competing at novice level. And so the criteria that the skaters in this discipline are now judged in is the same as the singles and the pairs. And so posture doesn't factor into any of the criteria. The word posture doesn't come into skating skills necessarily. The only thing that you can kind of extract from the judging criteria about posture is core control. Okay. But that's the same for both. And so it's a kind of grey area or unspoken thing, because those that know ice dance will always think, well, ice dancers are going to have the best posture, but really, essentially, it's not in the criteria any more for them than it is for the others.
No, you can have core control in a different position that does not have traditional posture, right?
And I think also with regards to posture, when previously, as I was talking about ice dance in its earlier incarnations, as we look at Tatiana and Ivan, that's when the compulsory dances had the hips close. Mm-hmm. Now, we don't have those, and also skating skills are about power, speed, flow, and glide. And so for me, if you look at the fastest skaters on ice, it's speed skaters, where their hips are further back. And so now you do see that the skaters do skate stylistically differently because speed wins over aesthetic.
And wouldn't posture be applied in some, like a balletic, versus something that's very creative?
Yeah, and I suppose it depends on your definition really of posture, because if you're looking at posture, that's where you've got your abdominals engaged, and often you would look at your shoulders being pinched back, so you'd be engaging your scapula and your back muscles to open up and project. That's still done, but sometimes now it's done from a position whereby the hips are a little further back. Mm-hmm. Okay. Whereas previously you would have had the hips underneath, and you would have had still the open chest and open posture, but it's just different now. And if we look at now Diane and Chahim, the couple representing Czechia, you'll see that stylization, and you actually will probably see it happening at the 2030 Winter Olympics more perhaps than you've seen at the 2026 Olympic Winter Games, because we have had at the elite stage in seniors teams that are still teams that did do a lot more compulsory dancing, because we've had the likes of Maddie and Evan, who did, Evan did 5 Olympic Games, so he will still have had a foundation of more compulsory dancing, whereas the teams that they were watching now, these ice dancers, they will have had to do compulsory dances as novices, but far less ingrained in consuming much of their training time. And actually some teams, they might have switched over from singles and not really had to do very much pattern dancing at all. So stylistically, there has been a change in the evolution of the ice dance world.
Okay, my question was in one quick sentence. Your answer
I felt there was 5 minutes.
Okay, what was the answer?
And it would be interesting to hear actually the judges, because a lot of these judges, they did a lot of pattern dancing, and I think there are quite a lot of ice dance fans, and maybe even judges, and maybe even coaches who wish that it went back stylistically to what it was before. I'd love to hear what people's thoughts and opinions are on the future of ice dance.
Yeah, I just wondered, the reason I wondered about that is because we talk about posture important. Then I thought, well, wait a minute, to be really creative sometimes, if you're doing like a jungle number, you're hunched over, you're down in your knees and your back and whatnot, so that's not a traditional posture. How is that evaluated against something that's more traditional, right?
I suppose that's then engagement of body and body control in what style you adopt.
Okay.
Talking of jungle.
Now, we've just clarified with clouds and fog the answer to that. Okay, but good discussion. As we get started in group number 2 in the free dance, the final day of competition here in Tallinn. Our first team represents Japan. Both are 21 years of age. Kaho Yamashita and Yuto Nagata.
And they choosing to skate to the Tree of Life suite. Music that was also used by a Japanese pair team on the senior circuit. Beautiful music, and they have said that with this free dance, they want to express the fragility and strength of life. A team in their final year as junior competitors. Japan's Kaho Yamashita and Yuto Nagata.
You know, Mark, I always love it when you have a bit of background to the story that they are trying to project on the ice. They skated to the Tree of Life, and they were projecting the fragility and strength of life. And my question to myself is, did I see that? Absolutely.
So, total kudos to the team then for delivering what the narrative was intended to showcase. And I thought for me, Kaho just looks so in the moment and so joyful, and this team have explained that this is their last junior event. They're eager to transition successfully into seniors and hoping to embrace the moment. What's even more amazing for Kaho and Yuto is their acknowledgement after the rhythm dance of what they see in the others at this event that's better than them. They're already acknowledging that they can learn from others in this comp.
And, you know, the fragility and strength, but I would add the word joy of life, because they finished their career, their junior career here. You saw that joy coming off the ice and in the program as well.
Yeah. And this team, you know, wanting to be on the train of pushing Japanese ice dance further forward, ever eager to help Japanese ice dance develop to a point that is comparable with the success that we see in Japanese singles and pairs. As we look at choreo elements, a smile on their face, abundant. Just never left the face of Kaho in particular. And look at the synchronicity in the arms, detail and attention. But we see on some of the replay as well, just a lack of the ice coverage we perhaps have seen from some of the other teams. So maybe the skating skills not the highest of their three components, but this curb lift changed position so perfectly on the phasing of the music, as we see an assisted jump from Yuto to Kawo.
And Mark, I was just listening to the technical panel. It was only 2 reviews. It was very clean and very clear and very silent on the panel because there wasn't a lot to review.
Good.
It was very clean for them. So that was interesting. And let's take a look at their free dance score. Season's best, 77.43. That is second in the free dance. Total competition score, another season's best total score, 127.56. That will put them, for the moment at least, into second place. And they have to be happy finishing this season and their junior career with the season's best. Our next team represents Great Britain, 15-year-old Mimi Marlor Davis and 19-year-old Joseph Black.
And a team that have enjoyed so much their participation at the European Championships and the Gala, loving the fact that they were able to see all of the top senior competitors before the Olympic Games, hoping to tap into that experience now as they skate to music from Porgy and Bess. A celebration visible from Mimi Mara-Davies and Joseph Black, and we also hear the family just below us elated, and rightly so.
Well, as you have mentioned before, they do some stage dancing and acting as well, and you can see that in their performance on the ice. It certainly is a different medium, but they have that training.
Oh, look, moved to tears, I'm sure. The families so are invested, and I think there's a great choice for Mimi and Joseph. The George Gershwin music, just allowing them to lean into their classic style as Karen, Quinn and Alan Abretti meet them up the ice. And this team moving up significantly from the 20th place at last year's World Juniors. There, you couldn't have a more perfect facial expression really for the sound of the opening to this free dance. And Mimi and Joe here, just in the three turnies and the way in which they're holding their free legs within the group C, sorry, the exit twizzle, so well matched. And that a reflection on the work that they have done on their basic skating skills and stylization. And from what we have seen of this team off the ice, they seem to have such a great connection and friendship that will, I'm sure, pay dividends over years to come. As we see some complexity and hold. And there, the choreo slide. Perhaps, again, well, for Mimi and Joe, it will just be the same as is the case for so many of the dance teams now, forever pushing to increase the speed and the ice coverage. This team, though, they train in a rink that is an NHL size, so it's not an Olympic size like they're training on now. So managing to adjust accordingly very well.
A report from the technical panel.
Yes.
I was listening to it.
Yes.
It really interested me because they were going through the rotational lift, and it got a little confused as to what the right arm was doing. Did it change position? And they looked at it again. They sort of said, "No, this is the level 2." Then they, wait a minute, I want to look at it one more time.
Oh, cool.
And they said, "Oh my gosh, yeah, it did move."
Oh,
and then changed
fantastic.
position. So let's take that to a 4. So the process of that was really good. I would have loved the audience to hear that. They're going, well, that's so fair, because they're really investigating and keeping it consistent throughout all the athletes. So that was great. It was good. Well done. Well done. And then, well done because it moved up.
I was going to say, as an extra couple of points probably on the
Exactly.
technical element score for Mimi and Joe.
But it's so interesting to listen to that process, and which people hopefully in the future will be able to do, because then you'll understand so much more about the mysteries of how the sport is judged. When you listen to it, you go, I get it.
Yeah.
I see it. Here we go. Let's take a look at the free dance scores. 72.80 for Mimi and Joseph. That is 5th in the free dance. The total competition score, 123.46. That'll put them for the moment into 4th place. Our next team represents the United States of America, 17-year-old Michelle Desh and 18-year-old Ryan Hugh.
And again, a team that will be able to showcase their versatility and expression from the rhythm dance to the free dance. They skating to 4 seasons. Michelle and Ryan bookmarking the program, the start and finish position. The same for this team that found out that they would be competing here just last week. And admirable that, as we see some of the American pair skating supporting them, admirable that they have done such a great job. And actually, interestingly, the no-name face flower crowns that we see, Michelle actually got in touch with Alicia to ask if she would be able to have one of these, at testament to how much of a badge of honor they are, because she will have seen those assigned to some of the best skaters in the world, and now she joins that illustrious group as Pasquale finds them off the ice. The program had a few clutch and grab, snatch and grab little moments whereby they struggled to connect as comfortably as they would have ideally liked, but that a little bit more understandable when you know that they didn't have the ideal time to prepare, knowing they'd be here. This was a glorious stationary lift position, showcasing not just strength and flexibility, but aesthetic mindfulness in the line that they held. And Ryan just having a little bit of a challenge through the twizzles, not sure if it was yeah, just see the breaks in the rotation there on the clockwise rotating twizzle, drawing the level that he has on that element down, and then perhaps that impacted a little bit of the conviction through the latter stage of the program to be able to push those components higher. But for this team, 6th at the American Junior National Championships, to be now Junior World Championship competitors is a great coup and a great opportunity for them to build from, as we see the closing rotational lift. And I love that completion of the program, rounding out with the same start and finish position.
Well, let's take a look at the freedance scores for Michelle and Ryan. It's 75.09, that is 4th in the freedance. And they have a total competition score of 125.87, and that'll put them overall for the moment into 4th place. Our next team represents Ukraine. Tatiana Ilodinova and Ivan Couture.
And that's confidently aggressive way to push out onto center ice. Tatiana celebrating her birthday yesterday, and she was just resplendently joyful and looked the same off the ice since that performance, hoping for the same celebration in 3.5 minutes time at the conclusion of this program to Survivor. Tatiana Badonova and Ivan Couture. She the youngest in the ice dance competition, and perhaps it's the innocence of youth, but there was a performance there that looked to be relishing the moment. We've seen other teams being a little cautious or being hesitant and making mistakes. That was aggressive as the music dictated.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask. Correct me if I'm wrong. We've seen this team on the Junior Grand Prix. They had an 8th place finish, then a 16th place finish. But this is their strongest performance, most confident performance of the season, I think.
Yeah, significant progression made, and wonderful to have heard the support for them from those in the audience on screen now. And when we cast our mind back to the first 8 teams that have competed, I don't think we've seen any personal best made, but as you say, Ted, this team appearing to have made significant strides since they last competed, or at very least being able to deliver what they've done in practice much more effectively than perhaps others have done.
And only when you mentioned that she was 14 that I had to look back at the sheets. Oh my gosh, she is only 14, because she certainly showed the maturity and the strength.
Yeah, 15 yesterday, but yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry, yes, absolutely. Well, I guess one day made a difference.
One day made a difference, exactly. Yeah, maybe it's turning 15 that's given her the confidence. And you just sense as we look at the opening of the program that Tatiana was just really happy to be here. Everybody's happy to be here. Everybody's mindful that this is a big stage and a big event for them. But it's in the moment being able to channel the nerves of the competition to deliver. And it looks like this was a leveling up under pressure. As we see a great change of position into upside down and difficult hold within the straight line lift. And here working at closed Choctaw. At one of their attempts at difficult turns, and their closed outside Mohawk. Again, another difficult turn, but as yet, still none of the teams have achieved more than a level 1 on their step sequence and hold or their 1-foot turns. So confirmation that the technical panel haven't yet found more than one difficult turn cleanly delivered within the context of those elements. That was cool.
You could see the conviction of the movement, even the facial expressions right in front of the judges.
It's interesting because obviously Survivor, the Destiny's Child track, has an aggression to it, but I like that Tatiana had a smile through the aggression the whole time. And as I mentioned in the rhythm dance, their coach, Aliona Kalimurza, their coach from the start of their career. She's so happy.
So 75.48 is their season's best. And this is a new season's best of 82.39. They are thrilled with that score, and it's legitimate. They earned that on this day. 133.94 total score, season's best, as they take the lead. Well deserved.
I love that. It just makes me so happy to see people achieving and getting recognition for all of the hard work that has gone into this moment.
Our next team, the final team in this group, representing Czechia. They're both 19 years old, Diane Schneider and Yenqing Novak.
And Diane and Chahim had some challenges within the tech score and the rhythm dance, but hoping now to deliver with the free dance to move into the top 10 if they can. Diane Schneider and Novak from Czechia. And I'll have to defer to your opinion, Ted, on what was shown on screen, because I couldn't help but then be compelled to look at the ice at that choreo character step sequence, and the passion and the intensity that Diane and Rahim were giving was transcending right up to our high position within the stands. They were so committed, and I think really showcasing the fact that more run-throughs and more time allows better commitment.
Yeah, and you saw her joy at the end of the program, not just with the whole program, but with the energy of that step sequence. I mean, you know, it was incredible. Great energy, great reaction by the audience here.
And this team, as I say, they struggled. They had a bit of an issue in the rumba pattern dance element within the rhythm dance, but their component scores were strong. And this, again, a further reflection of them being competitive within this field as they head towards Matej Novak, their coach. And they do have a very senior aesthetic. And I think they'll transcend into senior as well, hoping to follow in the footsteps of the sibling teams from Czechia that are doing so well on the senior ranks.
What was so cool is Diane's expression at the end, because it wasn't just about the program itself, it was about the conviction that she gave within that program, the joy that she felt, she delivered.
And I feel a little bit like we sometimes see in the singles events that the energy now is shifting in this competition from competitors who look perhaps a little bit cautious to now competitors who are striving to commit and channel the nerves in a positive way, as everybody aspires to do. And their difficult entry into the required dance spin, that their third element. And here we'll be looking there, back inside counter, little change of edge there for Diane. However, we have seen the first level 2 assigned on a step element. That was assigned to Diane on the 1-foot turns as we look at their choreo slide. And within these elements, the choreographic character elements, the judges looking for a whole host of different positive features, because no level assigned to those choreographic elements, all about the creative execution. But kind of don't want to talk about any technical aspects when you just see a human living their best life.
That was awesome.
Bisou kisses. She's relocated from Lyon to train with Rahim and Matej in Czechia.
The free dance scores, season's best, 86.03. That is first in the free dance with the total competition score. Season's best probably here. Yes, 138.70 as they take the lead. 2 groups to come.
Oh, great. The last 2 teams have had joyful reactions to the kiss and cry. Let's hope that continues for the next 10 teams as we head to the second half of the free dance competition.
Oh, what a great way to finish the first 2 groups. We'll take a break during the ice resurfacing, and we take a look at the standings so far in this event. 2 groups to come. Champions will be crowned. Watching live coverage of the final day of competition at the Junior World Championships in Tallinn, Estonia. I'm Ted Barton along with Mark Hanreddy. We'll take a short break. We'll be back right after this.
We envision the ideal way of living. In housing, designing comfort tailored to your lifestyle. Through medical and welfare, providing safety and peace of mind. With entertainment, delivering culture and sports that move your heart. Wishing everyone a life full of richness and fulfillment. Always by your side, Kenoshi and Group. We envision the ideal way of living. In housing, designing comfort tailored to your lifestyle. Through medical and welfare, providing safety and peace of mind. With entertainment, delivering culture and sports that move your heart. Wishing everyone a life full of richness and fulfillment. Always by your side, Kenoshi Group.
I am here now with young talents from Czechia. How do you feel yourself?
We feel so happy right now because I think we delivered the job we trained for, so we feel pretty overwhelmed.
What was the most challenging part of your program?
I would say maybe the career step, because this is about we need to give the most intensity from us. This is so really challenging.
What was your favorite?
My favorite part is probably the choreo step, even though it's pretty hard and it's hard to skate it because it's at the end of the program. That is the most exciting part for me.
How many hours do you usually train weekly?
Well, weekly we usually train about 15 to 20 hours per week.
Wow, wow, that's a lot. Okay, thank you so much, and see you later as well.
Thank you. Can we say hi to our Czech Olympians in the stands there, Nati and Filip?
So, we will soon, very soon actually, start playing a game called Kahoot. So it's a very funny game where you can participate and you can win some prizes that we have here also. So I will suggest to come back and play that with us. So it will start very, very soon. Ehk siis eesti keeles ka kõik, kes kusagil alamäel jalutavad, me kohe-kohe alustame Kahooti mänguga, kus saab võita erinevaid auhindasid. Nii et tulge julgelt juba vaikselt tagasi ja kohe alustame siis ka. Ja nüüd ongi aeg tulla tagasi, kes tahab osa võtta Kahooti mängust, sest et tõepoolest kohe me alustame, meil on olemas auhinnad esimesele, teisele ja kolmandale kohale. Seekord siis need on välja pandud Chic spordi poolt esimesele kahele kohale, nii et ma arvan, et tasub kindlasti osa võtta. So now we will start with Kahoot very soon, and the first and second place prizes for today's Kahoot are sponsored by Chic Sport. Their clothes are designed to keep you stylish and comfortable on the ice, and you can also visit their pop-up shop here. And so now it's the last time to participate. Ehk siis tõepoolest nüüd me kohe alustame. You can scan the QR code that you see on the screen, and when we're ready, then actually we will start now. And the first question, if you drop a blue hat in the Red Sea, what does it become? Ehk siis kui sinine nüüd see kukub punasesse verre, siis milleks ta muutub? Natukene selline trikiga küsimus, aga ma vaatan, et vastuseid juba tuleb meil päris usinasti, nii et õige vastus on Sunberg. So the correct answer is wet. Ja lähme aga edasi. What is in the picture? Mis on pildil? No kõik eestlased, ma arvan, kohe tajuvad ära, mis see on. So I will say it's an Estonian national dessert there. And the answer is kohuke. So it's a sweet curd like type of dessert. How many colors are there in the rainbow? Mitu värvi on Bianke ja kasutan korraga loendama peas, mis värvid seal kõik olemas on, või siis vaadata see pildi pealt lihtsalt, see on ka võib-olla päris hea selline nipp. Aga usun, et need vastused tulevad kindlasti. So 7 is the correct answer. And we move on. Which sushi type is in the picture? Milline sushi on pildil? No nii, sushi sõbrad, nüüd on teie kord vajutada ruttu neid vastuseid, sellepärast, et ma usun, et see tuleb kõigil siis kohe, kes vähegi on sushit varem söönud või armastab seda natukene rohkem. So it was Philadelphia sushi. And now the question, what is the name of She Sport's latest collection? Ehk siis, mis on She Sporti viimase kollektsiooni nimi? Kes on nüüd nende poest siin mööda kõldinud? See on ju vähe arvanud kindlasti. Ehk siis, mis see võiks olla? And it's honest. And I think it was the last question. So now we will see who won. Who, the podium. Third place, Diana. The second place, Maria. And now we will see who is the winner. Very well. Congratulations to everybody. So if you won, so please go down to the doors P2 and P3. You will show your result and there you will get your prize. Ehk siis, kui keegi nüüd võitis, siis kiige palun uste juurde B2 ja B3, näite nende kätega ka sinna poole. Ehk siis saate siis näidata oma tulemust ja saate auhinna kenasti kätte. Nii et tasub aga julgelt sinna poole teele minna. Aga meie jätkame kohe õige pea. So we'll continue very soon. Nii, aga te olete ilmselt tähele pannud, et meil on see päris mitu huvitavat ala. Meil on see osa siin, kus olen mina, see on siis Kiss and Cry ja meil on siin kõrvaga olemas ka liidritooli koht ja kohe me kutsumegi praegused liidrid siia koha peale. So maybe you have seen that we have a lot of areas. We have here Kiss and Cry area and we have a special place for the current leaders. So let's welcome them here now with applause. So I'll also move there. Hello again. How do you feel yourself now?
Oh, it's so good. So good.
So happy, yeah.
How are the chairs? Are they comfortable? They look very royal.
Get used to this.
Yeah. But you also have plans what you want to do after the competition.
Oh, I guess just spend a good time
Is it your first time in Estonia also?
Yeah, we've never been there before.
Welcome back, everyone, to Tallinn, Estonia. The final day of competition, the free dance, the final two groups coming up in just a few moments. I'm Ted Barton, along with Mark Henry.
Chao.
Talk, Mark.
Yeah, we've just been wading through the crowds. The number of spectators is increasing in the venue. A little bit trickier for us to make our way back to the commentary booth, but great to see that there will be a support for the skaters who are about to come to the end of their season. We're going to witness free dances that will have been created and considered months and months ago. Hopefully all of the 10 skaters about to step onto the ice will be able to give their absolute personal bests under the pressure of this big moment.
It was nice energy in the concourse with fans taking pictures of the skaters, and there was an excitement there. It's so good to see at all levels, but particularly here at juniors.
And I certainly noticed within the first two groups the sense of support and camaraderie, and we obviously saw some amazing scenes with the crowds at the Olympic Winter Games in Milan, but the audience here very much comprising of fellow athletes and family members, so a certain increase in the sense of appreciation for the moment and what this means to the skaters.
And a young generation of skaters here in Estonia that are practicing at the rinks at this facility, so you're seeing, yes, a lot of family members and whatnot, but also sort of the next generation of Estonian skaters.
Yeah, and I have to say that the quality that we're seeing on the practice rink
pretty good
suggests, yeah, quality. As we look now at sibling pairing of Anita and Andreas Straub, they in their 5th World Junior Championships and delighted to find themselves within the top 10, some 7 places higher than their best ever before. They do perhaps though sense some pressure from Diane and Chahim behind them. And as you may have heard us mentioning over the course of the first 3 days of competition, results at this competition do have an impact subsequently on what is possible for the nation on the Junior Grand Prix circuit. So I'm sure Anita and Andreas will be ever so eager to make sure Austria has a top 10 place or higher.
And that is just, you know, so important for the federation in the development model. They want to get as many teams and individual skaters out on the Junior Grand Prix to gain the experience to be able to challenge for the top 10 or the podium on the Junior World Championships. So that's not front of mind for them necessarily, but it is a factor.
Yes, for sure. And just for a little bit of an insight, the skaters on the ice now had a 7:40 a.m. practice. So an early start for the ice dancers. And the ice dancers had the longest time to wait out of all the 4 disciplines. We'd seen this being the last to start, but then they have a pretty quick turnaround from rhythm dance to free dance.
So question, for the early start practices, which discipline does it affect most?
Well, the ice dance practice, it's an unspoken acknowledgement, but ice dance practice tends to be as much, if not more, the competition than any other. And I know that for the women on the ice in the ice dance discipline, even Emilia Zingis, who was so incredible at the Olympic Winter Games, she took to her social media to acknowledge that, you know, she didn't really appreciate having transitioned from single skating to ice dance, that an ice dance practice required an unspoken expectation of a full face of makeup and hair and the real performance level that we're expected or have become accustomed to seeing in the ice dancers. So there is no correlation between what happens in practice and the scores the judges should give. The skaters, however, I'm sure will be desperately eager to make sure practice goes well from a psychological perspective.
Okay, well, I mean, I was asking which discipline it affects most, and I think pair skating, because there is a huge element of danger.
Oh, with the lifting
yeah,
and
exactly. And so when it's so early in the morning, so, but I don't think any of that is relevant to the setting of the schedule. It depends on where they're scheduled in the events themselves as to when they practice.
Well, actually, it's an interesting point because I think that either at the Grand Prix final or perhaps it was the skates to Milano Beijing Olympic qualifier when the pairs did have a very early morning practice, and many of those teams did acknowledge that it was less than optimal to be working on Group 5 lifts at the crack of dawn.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Finally got my answer that I wanted. Just kidding, okay.
And there we see Daniel Moaten and Theo Bijot, the first of the 2 French teams. And Daniel and Theo will be a little disappointed to find themselves in this group. They will have been hoping to contend for a medal, and so hoping to move up with their performance that will close out this group before we head to the top 5 placed teams after yesterday's rhythm dance. And as the sounds of the familiar now ISU change for the in-event experience, we hear the music that signals the final moment of the warm-up.
And the tension that's building towards the competition itself.
And that in itself will be new for many of these teams. They will not have experienced that, whereas we've heard it and seen it on the senior circuit for a season or two.
And so what the ISU has done very well over the past 2 years is choreograph, you know, the experience of the audience live in that building. So that is music selection, of course, the lighting, the LED boards, which we don't see here, but you will see in Prague, of course. The introduction of the skaters, which we didn't see here, but you will see that in Prague. So, you know, a whole fan experience upgrade.
Yes, and there will be hosts in Prague as well. We saw Valentina Marquet and Ben Agosto, former Olympians themselves, hosting the in-venue experience for the audience when they were at the Olympic Winter Games.
Will they be doing that in Prague?
I am not sure who's doing it. Somebody will be doing it.
Okay.
Somebody will be doing it.
Won't be you, because you'll be on air.
I'll be with headset.
And let's talk about that. Who's your guest?
Tanya Kwiatkowski. Well, not my guest, but...
Okay. Our next team represents Austria. 18-year-old Anita, 21-year-old Andreas, the Straub, brother and sister.
And they waltzing in advance of next season's rhythm dance choice, skating to the brilliant Jan Tiersen music from the Amelie soundtrack. Austria's Anita and Andreas Straub.
You know, Mark, I absolutely love this music, and this music is beautiful. It brings one to feel, think, reflect, and consider. It is in some ways simple to skate to, match to movement with the music, but also difficult to craft out a story.
Yes, and I wonder, as we see Anita looking emotional, if the emotion of the music is perhaps exaggerated in the assumption that this will be their final junior competition. We have seen this team on the junior stage for so many years. As I mentioned, their 5th World Junior Championships, and a great skate to potentially conclude their junior careers.
And I think those waves were meaning more than just today.
Yes.
It's maybe a goodbye to this portion of their sports career, this level at least.
And they've always been so joyful around the venue at the Junior Grand Prix over the course of the past 4 years, and they're now transitioning into seniors. They competed at the European Championships in Sheffield, so they're on their way to that.
It's a sad goodbye, but it's an exciting future.
Yes, for sure. And there's so much gratitude to Coach Galina Churalova, who has taken them under her wing since her relocation to Vienna in Austria, and the work that she has done to improve their technique has been so evident.
Keep dropping your phone, Mark. We take a look at the twizzles.
And as we head towards the later stages of this competition, you do see more ice coverage. An amazing over-split range showcased there by Anita, managing for the ice dancers not just to have extreme range of movement with the likes of oversplit, but then to have the strength to control it. As we see their double twizzle feature. And again, further example of the oversplit from Anita. Great range of movement at her disposal. Now, for Anita and Andreas, I was just acknowledging how desperately keen they are to have a top 10 placement, but Diane and Chahim were really solid, as we see them on the left of shot now, and Anita and Andreas need 84.04, which would be a new PB.
Take a look, it's an 83.55, a little bit shy of what they need. Second in the free dance. Total competition score, a season's best, a new season's best of 138.22, but that will put them into second place overall, at least for the moment.
So close.
Yeah, so very close.
That's nice to see the connection between the teams. We're all for sportsmanship.
Our next team represents Germany, 19-year-old Alexia Kruk and 20-year-old Jan Heisenhaba.
And this is an important day for Alexia. They're dedicating the free dance to Alexia's late grandfather. He passed away on this date in 2023, and she was incredibly close to him and wants to showcase her appreciation for all he did for her skating with this performance as they skate to We All Fall in Love and Fix You. Germany's Alexia Kruk and Jan Eisenhaber. So,
beautiful music brings beautiful moments.
Yeah, it's just such a fabulous track. And you can see a discussion between the team. Special anniversary for Alexia on an emotional day. But this team has improved so much over the course of the past season. They've competed 4 times at the German National Championships, this time becoming champions and now finding themselves within the top 10 at the Junior Worlds in their first year at Junior Worlds as they see their training mates who didn't make the cut for the free dance cheating them on. And now, I just thought that they were just a little early on occasion. The dance spin and the twizzles, they appeared to be just ahead of the music, perhaps what they compared to what I'm sure the intention would be. So perhaps that will factor into the grade of execution as Robin gives them a hug.
And maybe just so anxious to perform on this stage. And, you know, sometimes it just sets you off timing-wise just a little bit sometimes.
But their fundamental improvement is so evident, and there's so much good work being done in Berlin between Stefano and Robin, trying to elevate the quality of the ice dance community there, or create a real strength in the ice dance school there. And always a beautifully held 3-foot extension from Alexia. And they're talking about posture as we were earlier on in this competition. An exemplary example there on the straight line left before heading into rotational left. Here though, this is the exit feature. She doesn't get the 3 rotations. It's 3 rotations necessary for a Group C twizzle. She didn't get that, so she drops. Actually, it's a level 1 that's going into the system for Alexia on that. And as we see choreo hydroglide.
Well, they have a season's best of 86.21, but those few baubles in this program is not going to help them come close to that score on this day. And the free dance score is 83.35. That is 3rd in the free dance with a total competition score of 139.85. That will put them, though, for the moment at least, into 1st place.
To the delight of the Kobor twins that we can hear their training mates who are supporting in the audience.
Our next team represent Italy. 17-year-old Zoe Bianchi, 19-year-old Danielle Basil.
And Zoe and Daniel will perform to the popular music choice this week. Popular always due to its quality. Ludwig van Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. Italy's Zoe Bianchi and Daniel Basil. And some of the criteria for the judges in regards to grade of execution is to showcase body lines and poses of the partners to be aesthetically pleasing. And Zoe and Daniel showcasing, to me, the greatest line that we've seen of any thus far. Such a commitment to the extension of their free legs, making it quite beautiful to watch.
It was a spectacular piece, and it's quiet in some ways, not only just with the music, but their blades are quiet. You know, they cover the ice so easily.
And the ice coverage is so obvious within the straight line left, the second element, which to me was just a magnificent example of positive features. She got a really good grade of execution. And to me also this team pushing up into the 7s out of 10 in the components, to my mind, comparative to the 6s that we've seen from the leaders thus far. And they're working through back inside counter. So hard to have the turns called sufficiently clean, as we see the easiest of the turns to call, the twizzle. And just, this is it. This. And again, effortlessness, another positive feature. And that to me was the epitome of such. Look at the depth of the knee in the Ina bar. Every time, if you're looking for better skating skills, knee and ankle depth. And then the extension of the free leg to match. And Zoe, incidentally, she went to watch the free dance at the Winter Olympic Games in Milan, and she was inspired by the performance of Piper and Paul and Olivia and Tim. So obviously a skater that connects with emotion in performance. And you can see the emotion then displayed within the dance spin. And they're the end of the program.
You know, once again, Mark, you know, Ice Sense is so wonderful to watch because of the variety of programs. Some have stories, some have beautiful music, some have complete, you know, musicals, if you will. It's so entertaining. And this was beautiful. Let's take a look. They have an 89.78 personal best, and this is an 89.57, just a little bit shy, but it is first in the free dance. Quality skating, 147.51 total competition score. They take the lead. Our next team represents the United States of America. 17-year-old Jasmine Robertson, 18-year-old Chase Rohner.
And this one of the first of the teams that did make the Junior Grand Prix final in Nagoya. Talking of storytelling, there's some passion and intensity in this, their free dance, to the music from Notre Dame de Paris. Jasmine Robertson and Chase Rohner.
You know, what a tragic moment. This music can, and the movement can cast a spell, and it did in the beginning of the program, Mark. But as we saw, a little bobble then lead into more problems. That spell was broken, and it was a really tough skate.
And this is a new pairing, so still coming to terms with different competitive experiences. They've had an amazing season qualifying for the Grand Prix final as they see their teammates applaud them. But it was interesting, after the rhythm dance, when quizzed by Golden Skate, Jasmine said that this season they've learned how to be a good partner and how to communicate with one another and how to work well together. And of course now they need to make sure that they work well in this difficult moment, because of course this is far from what they wanted. Notre Dame de Paris, the music made me think of Meryl Davis and Charlie White, the former Olympic champions from their nation. And actually the performance there made me think of another outing from Charlie White, when Charlie White, I remember, the Cup of Russia fell over like 3 times in one performance. And so, you know, it happens to the best of them. They're probably inspired by Meryl and Charlie and can take solace from knowing that the challenges they had now have been experienced by others as well. You saw the difficulty that Chase had within the twizzles, and then, of course, further challenges throughout. But interspersed with the mistakes, obviously an example that this is a team that is one of the strongest on the junior circuit. But they're just not looking comfortable, and that's understandable. Nerves, adrenaline. We don't know the backstory of perhaps not feeling well. There are a whole host of implications, but it just looks like Chase just was unable to show what he can do in practice.
Yeah, I think the first mistake rattled him, which led into another one, which led into another one, and those performances have, it will pay dividends, not now, for sure, not today, that's for sure, but in the future, that will never happen again, I don't believe, with him.
And now...
And sometimes you don't know why it happens, it just happens.
Yeah, and now they'll return to their training base with the likes of Emilia Zingas and Vadim Kolesnik and the other great skaters that they train with, and the coaches who I'm sure will elevate them and support them so that next season is even more successful than what they've had this year.
Well, their season's best was a 94.44. That's a really good score. That shows how good this team can be. This score is going to fall way short of that, obviously, because of the mistakes. It's that type of a day. But the future is very bright. And today was shades of gray.
Yeah, and now just have to question what will happen with the mistakes that were made. How much will they drop from the position they find themselves in after the rhythm dances? Chase takes a big deep breath, awaiting the sound of their score.
It's a 76.22. That is 9th in the free dance with a total competition score of 135.38, and that'll put them for the moment at least into 5th place. And they're nodding their head knowing that's the correct result of this performance. It does not define who they are and who they will be in the future. Tough day. Our next team represents France, 16-year-old Dania Moaden and 17-year-old Theo Bijot.
And much like the Americans who preceded them, they have had scores in the mid-90s as they skate to music Nature Boy and Bad Guy by Billie Eilish.
There was a boy, a very strange, enchanted boy. They said he wandered very far, over land and sea. A little shy and sad of eye.
Daniel Moan and Theo Bijot from France.
There are some days for athletes, teams, and individual skaters that you simply nail it, and this team did it on this day. This music and intensity matches their personalities, matches their look. This was a very, very strong performance for this team.
Yeah, and I think Daniel and Theo, as I mentioned in Warren, will have been disappointed to find themselves in 6th after the rhythm dance. They were 4th at the Grand Prix final, and therefore I'm sure have hoped to be in contention for a medal here at the Junior World Championships, and I feel like they channeled maybe any frustration in a really brilliant way. This music choice, when we saw it at the Junior Grand Prix earlier on, months and months ago, I remember thinking it was a strange choice, and yet now seeing it with so much more mileage, it really was bringing to life the music, and their coach Barbara Piton was conscientiously choosing this because she wants to be pushing the team in different creative styles.
And I understand what you said when it was thought it was a strange choice. I didn't think it was a strange choice. I thought at the moment they just couldn't do it, right? But today, that was a good choice.
Yeah, and a difficult piece of music with which to work with. But I particularly appreciated the Nature Boy at the beginning and the way in which they work with both melody and beat of the music as we see the straight line lift. And here, look at the knee over toe, the depth of the knee within the circular step sequence, which is contributing to more flow. And this was great. The way in which they transitioned into this upright feature within the dance spin was great. And similar kind of as into this, the rotational lift. Look at the commitment to the extension of the left leg from Danya. Looks like they're having fun within the choreo character step sequence as well. Late in the program, so much riskier to put the synchronized twizzles as the second to last element, and yet, even though the shoulders were a bit raised in tension, they were cleanly delivered. And then taking what they've used as an callable lift and making it a choreographic lift to round out the program.
You could see how they felt right at the very end of that program. Maybe their season's best. The score might not be. I think they have a 95.78 is their season's best, earning that, funny enough, on week 1 in Riga.
Well done to the team. Barbara Piton with them now.
But today it's a 92.40, but it is first in the free dance with a total competition score 153 as they take the lead. They are thrilled, so they should be.
And they find themselves, they were less than a point behind 5th place after the rhythm dance, so applying pressure on those to come.
And there's a look at the standings so far. Good 6-point lead for Danya and Theo, for Zoe and Danielle. But this discipline is in good hands with the quality of skating that we're seeing and the depth that we're seeing at the Junior World Championship.
And interesting to see the top 5 all European teams and all from different training locations. And I think that is a real positive testament to different coaches all pushing forward their respective charges.
Okay, we're in our final warm-up group. Any topics we need to cover? We do want to remind fans on the women's free program coming up after this event. We will be having an interview and talking with Nina Petrikina of Estonia in the warm-up of the 3rd group as we enter the final stages of the final day of competition here.
Yeah, looking forward to chatting with the unstoppable Nina Petrenko, the European champion, as we see the first of the team.
Yes, sorry.
Ariana Soldati and Nicholas Taliabu. And when we look at a team like this, especially after seeing such brilliant from fellow Italian teams, Zoe Bianchi and Daniel Basil, confirmation again that we're seeing the next generation. Charlene Guinard and Marco Fabri have been such stalwarts on the senior international circuit for 14 or 15 years, and now this is the next generation. But interestingly, same coaching lineage being used to create these teams, and we give gratitude then and shout out to the likes of Barbara Fusser-Poli and Walter Rizzo and team and all those that work towards the creation of these great skaters. As we see a team like Leila Veillon and Alexander Brandis, who are here with a new kind of coaching generation. Adrian Diaz, who joins likes of Scott Moore and Madison Hubble to create other skaters who will lead the field, I'm sure, heading out of juniors into seniors. For me, Leila and Alex had the best composition in the rhythm dance. I thought the choreography that they had was the best of the event, and I look forward to seeing what they have to offer as we see Irina Pergina and Artem Kabal, fourth a year ago. And whilst they find themselves in a bronze medal winning position after the rhythm dance, I think that they'll be looking to move up, eager to try to secure the title at the Junior World Championships. That's a brilliant straight line lift. I think Irina amused at the fact that the announcer is acknowledging their ISU biography, which lists being a drama queen, and that's scrolling on TikTok, and that's from Artem, not from Irina.
Okay.
And there we see Ombre Perrier, Giannassini, and Simon Blanc-Clapperman, and Ombre explaining that before the rhythm dance, the Olympic champion, Laurence Fournier-Baudry, sent a text of good luck, and how nice to hear that the seniors, like the Olympic champion, are tuning in to support these athletes at the junior stage.
Oh, they're wonderful skaters and bright and fun personalities.
When I asked Ombre for any interesting anecdotes to perhaps share on the broadcast, she said, well, her mum is her hairstylist and hairdresser, but when she was in Lyon, she went for a trim before Junior World Championships, and she was a little aghast that her hair was butchered. She had it cut far too short. That's what she wanted to share, so there we go. As you look at Hanna Maria Aboian and Daniel Veselukhin, the story and concept of their free dance about the goddess Nike, and change of costume since we saw them at the Grand Prix final. They leading the field. They are the favourites, having won the Junior Grand Prix final. Indeed, they have been unbeaten this season.
So Mark, dance being your passion and your love, ice dance, that is. And as we look forward to the games in France 4 years from now, we take a look at this group of juniors. How many do you feel, or do you feel that it's in good hands with these teams? Of course, many seniors will stay on as well.
Well, it's interesting because the ice dance community is likely to be shifting. We've had some teams who have been around for such an impressively long period. I mentioned Charlene Guinard, Marco Fabri, 14, 15 years together. Piper and Paul, so many seasons together. And Madison and Evan, of course, you know, their time in the senior ranks has been amazing. We don't know who will continue towards 2030, but certainly you assume that there will be a changing of the guard, and these are the likely skaters that will do just that. And for sure, you know, in good hands, of course, and hopefully just, you know, continuing to attract a greater audience as these skaters push to create material and art that inspires others from beyond the world of the ice rink.
And I think one of the things that really we saw at the Olympic Games was not only the brilliant skating, but was their personalities and their camaraderie and the drama of the highs and the lows and the storytelling, if you will, by the networks and by the ISU. Is so important to engage the fans in the people, not just the skaters.
Well, you know, as we see,
Netflix did that.
I was going to say, and that's something that, you know, you really hope that really these athletes will be given the opportunity to have as well, such that their lives are elevated. There's so much that goes into the creation of this standard of skater, and so shedding a spotlight on them, like with the likes of the Netflix documentary that we saw, Glitter and Gold, gives them more career opportunity. And I think everybody wants that for these skaters that sacrifice so much to entertain us now.
Here we go, the final group in the ice dance. Medals will be awarded. A world champion will stand on top. Our first team in this group, 15-year-old Ariana Soldati, 20-year-old Nicholas Tagliabue.
We've already seen some brilliance from a junior Italian team in the group prior. Now the turn of Ariana and Nicholas.
Forever, hold on up and then
Italy's Arianna Soldati and Nicolas Taliabout. And you can see the French team just analysing the impact of that performance on their standing in the winner's leader's chair. Mission Impossible, the concept for the free dance, a heist between this team. They have been competing so much. Their commitment to the pursuit of greatness resolute. They've competed since we saw them on the Junior Grand Prix at 5 different internationals. And in those internationals, they've been up against Zoe and Daniel, the other Italian team, battling one and above the other. And what's so wonderful about that is that you can then rest confident in the knowledge that Italian ice dance has got a bright future, because you've got 2 teams from 2 different schools with 2 great coaches that are pushing one another. And it'll be interesting to see how, on this occasion, Arianna and Nicholas fare against Zoe and Daniel. Because their scores have been ranging between 89 and 94. As we look back at their performance throughout the course of this Junior World Championships, the skaters have had lower scores than perhaps they have expected on earlier international assignments. As we look back at some of the elements which dictate that score, their step sequence and hold, and their right inside rocker for Nicholas. And there, a choreographic spinning movement. So 7 different types of choreographic element they can choose from of the 2 that they have to pick. And they choosing a choreo spin unlike, I think, any of the other teams that we've seen, as we see their combo lift of straight line and rotational. You see a little break in the rotation there for Nicholas. That should drop the level of his twizzle. And unfortunately, they have incurred the dreaded exclamation mark on their choreo character step. So not all of the criteria fulfilled, and that has a costly impact on the grade of execution. That has been a fate that has been assigned to quite a few senior teams as well. So they'll get that feedback in due course. But right now, chance to celebrate. And actually, I was told that he cut his hand, had stitches just 6 days ago, so he's done well to skate as well as they have with a less than ideal prep.
Their season's best, 84.57, and this program will deliver 87.26, the season's best. That's 3rd, though, in the free dance, with a total competition score of 148.81. That's the season's best, and it'll put them, for the moment at least, into 2nd place.
So again, confirmation of the ongoing strong battle rivalry between the Italian teams that I look forward to enjoying develop over the seasons ahead.
Our next team represents Canada, 19-year-old Leila Delion and 20-year-old Alexander Brandes.
And it was an absolute treat to see the composition of their rhythm dance, and now this to another brilliant piece of choreography as they skate to Max Richter's Summer. I think that program, Ted, is just such a brilliant piece of work, and it's so interesting to see different approaches to the choreography of a free dance, and Leila Villon and Alexander Brandis really nailed it.
Well, the choreography is always supposed to match the music, but it doesn't always based on the performance. But in this case, every phrase of choreography matched the phrasing of the music. It was beautifully, beautifully delivered on this day.
And the ice dancers have obviously such restrictions in regards to the elements that they've got to utilize, but there were some interesting choices from Leila and Alexander. Just the 1 foot turns to open the program, the pattern, the circular pattern that they made, then into the choreo spin. Just refreshing to see different choices of body movement within the elements to still achieve, obviously, the maximum desired level 4.
And regardless of the scores that they get or the placements that they end up, this has to be gratifying to finish the season with that quality of a performance.
And here, the end of the 1 foot turns. This a team that have been together for such a long period of time, and so I suppose to that regard, they're able to then exploit and play with different body movement, having a repertoire and a vocabulary of movement that they've built up over the years. And so you see the straight line lift and the 1 foot exit there from Alex, a feature. And as the program was progressing, two factors which make me appreciate so much the composition. The program finished, and I wasn't ready for it to finish. One, and then the concept that I wasn't aware about the medals that they'd be fighting for. I wasn't thinking about them as fighting for medal. I was able to just enjoy, so they were able to deliver from the presentation aspect in a manner that wasn't showcasing any nerves.
Yeah, and I'm going to make a comment not on the technical or the sports side of the sport, but I think this is the performance of the day so far.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I was going to ask you, but I just want to see how you responded to that comment as we take a look.
Could be the performance of the event. That was
no, it was a great performance. They have a 97.84 as their season's best, and today's performance brings a 96.77. That is first in the free dance with a total competition score, not of approval, a high five of 160.58 as they take the lead. 3 teams to come. They did everything they could do. Now it's up to the next 3 teams to sort it out. Our next team represents Ukraine, 17-year-old Irina Bedgena and 21-year-old Artem Koval.
And Irina said that they are ready and they've been waiting for this moment as they skate to music from Moulin Rouge, the musical.
Ladies and gentlemen, bohemians and artists, coquettes and boulevardiers, may I present to our sparkling diamonds, the unique, the indomitable, the one and only
Diamonds are forever. They are all I need to please me. They can stimulate and tease me. They won't leave in the night. I've no fear that they might desert me. Diamonds are forever and ever and ever.
Irina Pegina and Artem Kabal do all they can to take their first medal at an ISU championship event. It means so much to this team, and it's interesting to hear how very popular they are with the other ice dance members of the community, because below us there are lots of teams really supportive.
Cheering them on throughout the program. They just fired out of the gate at the top of the program with such speed and aggressiveness, and then stayed true to every element to skate clean and not make a mistake.
Well, he said on his ISU biography that he can be a drama queen, so there you go from Artem. Whereas Irina looks like she's computing what was done, eager, of course, to see if it will have been enough. She looks a little hesitant. There were some places where it appeared to be a little overcooked, perhaps. It maybe wasn't the most comfortable skate that they have had. But their speed, their flow, their glide, and the depth of their edge, the best that we've seen thus far. So from a skating skills component score, it should comfortably be the best.
Yeah, and sometimes it can be not comfortable because the stress is there for the athlete, but for the judges, everything was there on the ice. So we'll see what the score is going to reveal.
And from a technical element score perspective, here we see the straight line lift. How many positive features will the judges assign? Choreo slide here, and the judging criteria, that teams like this are trying to push for grades of execution in the +3 to +4 range out of the maximum 5. Well, of course, they're trying for +5, but it'll be that fine detail which dictates the result. Even there, just a little lack of control coming out, so some little bobbles, which could impact upon the presentation. Slightly out of sync on the first of the twizzles. So we see that amazing transitional content from the choreography by Alexandra Nazarova and Maxim Nikitin within their choreo character step.
Well, we've seen a few seasons best score, not many, but we've seen a few this year, or this day. 98.44 is their season's best. How close would they come to that? We'll find out right now. Anxiously waiting for the score. 98.87 season's best. That's first. They will take a medal with a total competition score of 164.32. Overcome with joy. They're on the podium.
And they're less than a point behind the leaders after the rhythm dance, so it's bronze for now with two teams.
Good point. Our next team represents France. 19-year-old Amber Perrier Jasani and 18-year-old Samuel Blanc Klapperman.
And Amber and Samuel will skate their free dance to music from the soundtrack to The Legend of Tarzan. Ombre Perrier, Jasani and Samuel Blanc-Clapperman had said after the rhythm dance that they had been inspired by a quote from Kaori Sakamoto about how helpful it could be to be second and to therefore chase for the title. They don't look overjoyed, it seems, with the skate, as we see some very happy leaders in the leader's chair.
Yeah, interesting. You try to read the body language about how they feel about that moment, and that is not the overjoy and the fist pump that we do see normally.
Yes.
But maybe they're more internal at the moment, I don't know.
Certainly, I did see a little break in the rotation from Samuel in the in the twizzles, so maybe that, but nothing cataclysmically disastrous. You can see Ombre just acknowledging the hair that's come out that she told us about. We mentioned it in warm-up.
Well, I was thinking maybe that's strategic. It's more frantic at the end of the program. The music is building, the story is unfolding.
And this concept of the legend of Tarzan was sold to them by their coaching staff, Olivier Schoenfelder and Marine de l'Ascension, giving them this concept. And I think it's great to see different material, and we're seeing different choreographers creating the material for these junior teams. And
I did an interview with them in Baku, where they won, and they said they really weren't sure about this team in the beginning, but then they fell in love with it.
Well, I suppose when you've got a coaching staff like that, former world champions, then you're going to listen to what they say, and I'm so glad that they have, as we see difficulty. And this is where we're at in the competition, whereby teams are using not just criteria for level 4, but more complex criteria to facilitate more of those positive features. So a greater difficulty in terms of the composition of these programs than what we saw earlier on. Even this, you know, that's more complex in terms of composition, and that'll have bifold help to them in terms of their score, both from creative execution within the element and the composition component in the second mark.
Well, right at this moment, the scores are very, very close, and it's still sort of changing, so the scores are still coming in, but this is going to be ever so tight.
Well, they need a 98.02 if they are to stay ahead of Arina and Artem. I'd say from a composition perspective, this is stronger and more difficult. Oh, it's hard. Skating skills compatible between the two. It really is going to lie, I think, in the hands of the technical panel as to levels, as we see the scores looking pitilessly
coming
close.
in, so they're looking, their season's best of 96.53 is beaten here with the new season's best of 98.57. That is second in the free dance, but a 164.88, as they will at least take the silver.
And will they be the first French junior world champion since Papadakis and Cesarin won in 2012? One team to go.
And I think they knew it was pretty close coming off the ice, but they're so thankful. They remain on top of the leaderboard. Our final team represent the United States of America, 15-year-old Hannah Maria Aboian and 18-year-old Danielle Veselukhin.
And the concept that she is a goddess Nike, a sculpture that he brings to life. Deep concept for the favorites. Hanna Maria Aboian and Daniil Veselukhin from the United States of America lay down their claim on taking the junior world title.
When you skate last and you have that opportunity, you need to skate like champions. And on this day, I believe they did.
Yes.
They didn't make a mistake. They had the energy, matching the crescendo at the end of the music. The emotion is felt not only by them and by the audience, but has to be felt by the judges as well.
And it's so interesting because with ice dance, it can be hard to give tangible factors that differentiate, but certainly as we were flitting between me watching on screen to what is seen on the broadcast and what is seen on venue, energetically, so therefore from a presentation perspective, this was elevated to the extreme. I also think that the speed was greater than the other teams too.
Yeah.
And whilst I didn't think that they had a great skate in the rhythm dance. I thought it was a little bit scrappy, but this to me was the best and comfortably the best.
Well, we will see what the judging panel and the technical panel produced from a score perspective. There was only one element under review, that's it.
I mean, I say comfortably the best. There are still aspects of others in this event that I think were stronger, but on the whole, the delivery of this, from aspects like this, choreographic spinning movement, so how many positive features does that get comparative to the choreographic elements of the others before? Certainly, the position is epic. Hanna Maria has such range of movement, and I felt like at maybe 2/3 of the way through the program, Hanna Maria really allowed herself to tap into her energy of expression as we look through the 1-foot turns. Here, the risky element delivered with confidence, the twizzles. And total respect and credit to Melissa Gregory and Denis Petrikov, the Olympians from America, and they responsible for last year's World Junior Champions Noemi Maria Talley and Noah Lafornara alongside Walter Rizzo's team, and doing it again with another team. What a great stable that they are creating in Newington, Connecticut. As we see there, you can see real. That's the emotion that you can't really do in practice. That's competition emotion, and that's competition relief, I think, from the coach.
Oh, that's
Melissa.
fueled by the excitement of the moment for them on the big stage in first place. And they have a season's best 100.41 there. Need a 98.44 to take the title.
It's all got a little bit more serious now.
Yeah. Job done. You want to find what did they earn? What are the points? And here it is. 100.26, that is first. They are going to be, no, they are the World Junior Ice Dance Champions.
I had fun to see that because Melissa and Dennis were just looking so composed.
Yeah.
You know, they had the champions last year, but it doesn't mean any less to them to do it with this team this year.
Celebrate.
You know, the ice dancers are always so reserved.
Isn't it interesting, you know, because sometimes it's either the athletes are, you know, they're great and the coaches are happy, but they're all equally ecstatic.
Yeah.
That's great. While we wait for the presentation of the medals to be set up, Mark, let's give a little bit of a wrap up. What are your thoughts overall about this ice dance event here at the Junior World Championships in Tallinn?
I think I'm not just delighted to have seen the great skating, but my takeaway at the conclusion of the event is my delight in seeing the different choreographic creations, and I think seeing lots of different choreographers at work giving us different material to what we've seen on the senior circuit is really exciting, and I've so appreciated the different approaches from the different teams, and it's grateful as ever to the skaters and everybody that goes behind making these performances.
And it's so difficult because they're all so excellent and they have such a variety of presentations and performance that move people or bring a sense of humor or whatever, or creativity and innovation. How do you tell the difference in the sport aspect of it? That's the detail. And everyone will walk away with their favorites. Let's step aside for a moment as we hear from the champions.
Junior champions in ice dance, Hanna Maria Aboian and Daniil Veselukhin from United States of America. Applause! Congratulations. How are you feeling right now?
Amazing.
amazing. It's one of the most beautiful performances we've done so far, and I'm so proud of ourselves.
Do you already know how you will celebrate the victory tonight?
I think we're going to have dinner together and then, with the families and everyone.
How much energy you got from the audience here?
So much energy. Thank you everyone for all the support, all the energy and everything. Guys, thank you.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. It means a lot to us to be here, and we're just really grateful to everyone who supports us. And just thank you to Estonia and the Estonian Federation for holding such a beautiful Junior Worlds.
Yes.
Applause, congratulations, and let's make one more big applause for the winners.
U.S. team leader.
My gosh, you know, when you look, Hannah Marie, 15 years old, and she's so epic on the ice. It's incredible. Then when she speaks, you see that youthfulness there.
Yeah, but it's interesting as we've now crowned 3 of the 4 champions. We've seen different skaters having to come to terms with it, speaking in public, and the most well-versed, it seems.
Oh, yeah, very good. And Danielle was anxiously waiting for that microphone to pass over to him. Exactly. As we take a look at the podium positions earned here in Tallinn.
With Irina Budgina and Artem Kabal moving up from 4th 12 months ago to take a medal, and they looked more than satisfied as they descended from the leader's chair. They still look very delighted that they have a chance to step on the podium at an ISU Championships before they head towards senior level competition. And it is silver for Ombre Perrier, Jasani and Samuel Blanc Klapperman. They moving up from 10th place. They have the biggest jump in standings from World Junior Championship to World Junior Championships. 8 places higher than a year ago in Hungary. And that result will facilitate more participation for French ice dance teams on the Junior Grand Prix Series next year, which will excite many watching at home in France who will be eager to take up those spots as the 2026-2027 season will get underway. But it is gold for Hanna Maria Aboian and Daniel Veselukhin. They came in as favourites, having won both of their Junior Grand Prix assignments and the Junior Grand Prix final. And the performance in the free dance justifying the title. Kudos both to them and their coaches in delivering back-to-back World Junior Champions. It's a really impressive feat from them to achieve from different nations as well. Wonderful scenes at the conclusion of their free dance.
Well, that concludes the coverage of the ice dance event. One left here in Tallinn, the women's free program coming up in just a few moments. You can stay online to watch the medal presentation. We'll step aside, have a short break. We hope you'll join us for the women's free program coming up right after this.
ISU Figure Skating Junior World Championships 2026 Victory Ceremony Junior Ice Dance. Third, and winner of the bronze medal from Ukraine, Irina and Kabal.
daamid ja härrad, kui teil on võimalus, palume võitlejate riigihümni ajaks püsti tõusta.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can, please stand for the